Hi, I'm Robert Keegan. I'm the Trade Solutions Manager at EORI, and today we're going to be talking about the Common User Charge and Port Health Charges. And for that, I am joined by...
Hi, I'm Lex Townsley, and I'm the Head of Finance at EORI. So even though Common User Charge and Port Health has been in place since April 2024, we still get lots of questions asked about it, which is fair because it's complicated. So today, Rob, I'm going to be asking you our most commonly asked questions. So let's start with Common User Charge. What is it and why was it introduced in the UK?
So the Common User Charge, also known as the CUC, is a levy set by DEFRA, and it's used to fund the IBF, Sevington, IBF, Ashford, whatever you want to call it. It funds the facilities there. They spent a lot of money building them up, and now they've got to recover those costs.
Okay, great. So which ports does it cover?
It covers imports through Dover and Ashford. Now, you'd expect Dover to do their own checks, but due to political reasons, all checks through the short straits are done at Sevington, regardless of the tunnel or the ferry. There is an IBF at Holyhead, but unfortunately, or fortunately, let's say, there are no charges applied at the IBF in Holyhead just yet.
Okay. And which goods are subject to Common User Charge?
So sanitary and phytosanitary, or in layman's terms, food, in effect. Not all foods, but a lot of raw foods, cheese, meat, etc.
Okay, and how are the Common User Charges calculated and who are they set by?
So they're set by DEFRA on a yearly basis. They were supposed to review them, but they haven't changed, and they apply to the number of commodities or species on each CHED. Now, we all know that CHEDs are split into low, medium and high. We're just going to cover low and medium today because it's the majority of imports. So for a low risk import under the CUC, you're expecting to see £10 per commodity, up to a maximum of £50, so it's capped at 5 lines. The CUC also includes species to include in that cap. So 1 commodity code, but 2 species is £20. 2 commodity codes of the same species is also £20. For medium risk, the same methodology applies, but it's £29 as the starting point, and it's capped at £145.
Okay, so low risk, £10 per line, capped at £50. Medium risk, £29 per line, capped at £145.
Correct.
As it stands now. Brilliant. At what point in the import process is Common User Charge applied, and how does that differ from Port Health?
So the Common User Charge is applied the moment a CHED is submitted with Sevington as the BCP, the Border Control Post. Once that's submitted, CUC will assign a charge to the account. It can be assigned to the submitter of the CHED. It can also be assigned to the importer. Here at EORI, we take on all the charges and pass them back to the customer. We do that because Port Health charges cannot be done this way. They cannot be assigned to the importer. They can only be assigned to the agent. So therefore, we take on both charges at the same time and bill back together.
Brilliant, thank you. So moving on to Port Health then, what are they and who's charging for them?
So Port Health charges are levied by the individual authority. These are, let's say, Suffolk Port Health Authority for imports through Felixstowe. Dover Port Health will do only high-risk imports through Dover. They won't touch products of animal origin. For that, it is Ashford Port Health covering both movements through the tunnel and on the short straits themselves.
Okay. What are the charges for Port Health and what dictates them?
So Port Health charges are based on, for medium risk, the weight, and for low risk, it's just a standard between £8 and £12 charge. You usually see about 10. Ashford currently at 10, and that's the majority of imports into the UK. Back to medium risk imports, it's gross weight. So if you've got, let's say, 99 kilos of cheese, you're unfortunately going to fall in the first price band of £68 for the first 6 tonne. If you were in six tonnes, just over, let's say, 6 tonnes in a kilo, you're actually going to be in the next price banding, and you're going to pay an extra £11, and therefore afterwards.
Okay, so low risk is £10 for Port Health, medium risk starts from about £66 upwards.
Yes.
Is there any cap on that?
So the cap for low risk is just, it's low risk. It will always be between 8 and 12, depending on the Port Health Authority. Let's say Ashford, 10, it'll always be 10. For medium risk products, it's capped at £517 for very large consignments through Ashford. You can have multiple commodity codes and multiple species on the same health cert. It will always stay under that charge. It's important to know, a lot of customers also say, well, my gross weight was 6 tonne, but I've been charged for 5 different Port Health inspections or charges. Well, that's because your total consignment was 6 tonne, but you had multiple export health certificates. And Ashford Port Health, like all Port Health authorities, will look at an export health certificate in its individuality. They'll only focus on that, so they will receive multiple charges.
Makes sense. Does this apply to sanitary and phytosanitary goods?
Yes, it does.
Brilliant. Can you give me some practical examples?
I can, and we've got some props for that. So we talk about low risk. We have a piece of cheese here made with pasteurised milk, Pecorino Romano. This would be £10 through the CUC, 1 commodity code, 1 species, £10 for Ashford Port Health, very cheap. If you received a £20 charge on a 1 pallet import, you'd say, okay, that's quite reasonable. £20.
Yeah.
Now we've got medium risk. Even though it is a bigger piece of cheese, that's not why the price has gone up. This is Pellegrino Formaggio. This is a medium risk import made with unpasteurised milk, 1 commodity, 1 species, 29 to the CUC and 68 to Ashford Port Health. Now that might seem excessive, but that is the price banding. It's under the first 6 tonne, so it will always be £68. So you're going to have a £20 fee on your low risk and almost a £100 fee on your medium risk imports. So quite expensive.
And that brings me on to my last question. Could these rates go up further?
They could. So touched on earlier, DEFRA were planning to move CUC charges up last April or April just gone. They never did. We've asked them a couple of times what their plans are and they've just fobbed us off basically. Ashford Port Health and all Port Health authorities, they increased their charges in April, but fortunately they're only quite small. It was £2 from 66 to 68 for the first 6 tonne and £1 for every tonne afterwards. If they increase next April, we expect it to be something similar. Unlikely that CUC charges will increase because of the EU-UK reset, and politically it's not very viable to add more inflationary pressure.
All right, well, let's wait and see. Thanks, Rob.
Thanks for asking questions this time. It was quite fun. I enjoyed that.